on Hawaiian punch. Oh, you like all this gush? Oh no, you can't get enough. Sipping on Hawaiian punch.
Hey, my name is Adeline Warren, and you're listening to Girl Talk. I like to say that I'm the big sister of the internet. You can watch me fuck up all you want, but hey, maybe we can learn something from it. I hope you enjoy. Oh my God, you guys, I have searched the deep, dark depths of my notes app. And my notes app is really scary. Like, I have some text that I never sent that oh my God, I'm so glad that I didn't send. You know when you're about to write like a paragraph and send it to someone, and then you look at it over and you're like, actually, maybe I'm not going to send it. I found so many of those. I found lots of video ideas. And then this is what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about my worst date story time. And this one is such a fucking funny one. I told the story of my worst date with a girl on TikTok, and like everyone agreed with me. Like, it was a bad date. Like, it was really bad. We did not get along. I ended up crying at the end of the date. I literally looked like this. But today I thought that we could talk about the worst date that I've been on. This is what I named the note. I thought that I named the note worst date story time because once it happened, oh my God, I have to also tell you, this happened when Sierra was staying at my old house. So this was at my old house. It was probably like, I think 2 years ago. It was when I just started dating. I swear I just downloaded Tinder. Where did I find this man? Probably off, I think it was Hinge. It was Hinge, I remember. And I was going for people that were like the exact opposite of my ex. I feel like when you break up with someone after like 5-6 years, you go after people that are the exact opposite. So I went after like the typical douchebag fuckboy, and this is just a story time. I'm so happy I found this note. This is funny as fuck. I love this story time. I tell my girlfriends this story time all the time, and I'm so happy that we're able to share this right now. It all started, we matched on Hinge, and I was so excited to be going on a date. I think it was 9 months after I've broken up with my ex to finally go on a date and start like meeting new people. I think I was like, oh, I'm so smart. I'm so independent. I don't need a man, like blah, blah, blah. And like, I wasn't focusing on it at all. And I was low-key, I was like kind of thriving. Like, I feel like when you're not focusing on men is when you're kind of thriving. I was doing my breakup series. I was thriving. I had my Girls Supporting Girls. I was like, a lot of work was being done. And I feel like I was just focusing on work. And then, you know what? After 9 fucking months. And like, it kind of messed me up in the head because when I broke up, he was like, oh, like, don't be like sleeping around with too many people. And I was like, like, you can't tell me what to do. Or you're like, you're not my boyfriend anymore. And I don't know. I really thought about that. I was like, I'm not going to let my body count get too high or else, you know, my body count was at 1 with my first boyfriend. I lost my virginity to him. I lost everything to him. And I thought I was going to marry him. And I thought I was going to save myself to marriage too. But picture this. Adeline got out of a 5-6 year relationship 9 months later. 9 months of no sex, no talking to men, no nothing. Completely celibate Adeline is about to go on a date. And she's really excited. So Sierra comes to visit me in Canada. And I'm so excited to have her. And like, she's telling me, this is also a funny story. Sierra comes to my house. She's like, girl, why are you living in the middle of nowhere? Because low-key, I was living in the middle of nowhere. I was like not near the city at all. I live basically in Toronto. And the city that I used to live in was super, super far away. And I lived there because of my ex. So his family was there. And it was just like really nice because it was like in the middle of nowhere. It was like a very country town and everybody knows each other, and it was amazing and it was cheap, so it was like perfect for me in that situation. And then once I finally, you know, became single, Sierra goes up to me and she's like, girl, why are you living in the middle of nowhere? And we're just real with each other. Like, don't be thinking like Sierra's being mean to me or whatever, because I know people are like, Sierra has a lot of haters, but she was just basically like, girl, why are you living in the middle of nowhere? Like, you're not even living with your ex. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I actually am I'm just comfortable here. And I don't know. I feel like in everybody's head, they think that when you get a house, you have to live there forever. But that's not the case. It is expensive to move, it's kind of a headache to move. But when you buy a house, you don't have to live there forever. I don't know why I thought I had to live there forever. And I have to admit, living in the middle of nowhere when my ex is there, my ex's family is there, I didn't know anyone, like, it could get really lonely. So I was like, okay, maybe I should move. But in the meantime, Sierra was like, okay, like you should go on a date. So Sierra was here. We did a lot of fun things. Like we went to the drive-in movie theater and, whatever. Sierra, I think, was in also her single girl era. So we were like talking about boys and stuff like that. I think she went on a date in Canada. It was so long ago before she met her fiance. And she convinced me. She's like, okay, Adeline, I went on a date. Now you have to go on a date. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go on Hinge and I'm going to try this dating thing because I don't know. I don't know why. I just wasn't really interested in it. There was this one person though. I was hyper focused on one person, but it was more so of like a celebrity crush than an actual dating. So this is my first kind of date after my really long-term relationship. And it could not have gone more worse. It was so fucking bad. Actually, you know what? I lied. I did one date before. This is maybe like my second date outside of my relationship. But girl, I'm so glad it wasn't my first because I would have been so discouraged and so sad because it was so fucking bad. Anyways, long intro. Let's get into the actual date. We obviously matched on Hinge. I already told you. And I basically was like, hey, why don't you come pick me up? Because I don't know why. I was just like so fucking obsessed with that book, Why Men Love Bitches. And I don't know. It just basically said that you have to like not try and like have the guy do all the work. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to have him pick me up. But don't do that. Like, don't ask random men to pick you up from your house. Give them your address on the first date. That was a red flag on me. I'm really sorry about that. I shouldn't have done that. That was really bad on my part. Do not do that, ladies, because you never know if they're crazy and they'll show up to your house. You never know. So I was like, okay, why don't you go pick me up? I wonder if I can find my messages. Wait, Hinge. I don't know, guys. It was years ago. I don't know if, see, I'm not even signed in. I don't know. I can't find it. I'm not going to sign in. So we set up a date. He's going to come at whatever time to come pick me up and everything is set up. And yeah, so this is it. I'm really excited. I get ready. I do my makeup. You know what I did? I think I actually did a get ready with me at my old house for a date. And this was the date. And I ended the vlog with being like, that was the worst date of my entire life. So here it is. So the day of the date, I obviously get ready. I do my get ready with me. I'm on time. And I think he was running a little bit late. And when he finally pulls up, his car revving his engine was so fucking loud. I put in the little brackets, it was a Ford. And like, no tea, no shade. There's nice Ford cars, like go off. But he was one of those guys that took the muffler thing off to make the engine sound louder. And I was like, oh, hell no. Once that happened, I should have just pretended that I didn't even know who he was. Because I feel like that's like the number one red flag when a guy takes off the muffler and the car is really fucking loud. So he picks me up and we're kind of talking in the car. And he was just basically like, I don't know. It was like kind of like conversation. There were some things that he would say that were kind of red flags. But I just kind of brushed it off to the side. And I think we were driving. I was like, oh, where are we going? He's like, oh, I don't know. We should just drive around. And I was like, okay. So I looked around at a restaurant patio and I'm like, oh, look, a restaurant patio. And he goes, ooh, a bunch of white girls. We should go there. Pardon me? That was crazy. And you know why else I also fucked up? He picked me up, so I can't even leave when I want to. This was the worst date on my part too, because I just did not set myself up for success in this one. So I was like, oh, a bunch of white girls. We should go there. And I kind of like look at him like, what? I was super passive. If someone said that to me now, I would say something about it, but I was so passive back then that I was like, oh, huh. I kind of like laughed it off. You know what I mean? And, we would talk in the car. Keep in mind, I live in the middle of nowhere. So he drove a little bit closer to the city. It was like 30 minutes or 45 minutes out. He brought up all three of his exes. So I apparently knew all of his exes and he really wanted to talk about his exes. And he brought me to McDonald's. And I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, oh, Adeline, like, stop being so shallow. Like, it doesn't matter how much a man spends. Like, I love McDonald's. Like, girl, don't get me fucking wrong. I love McDonald's. I fucking love McDonald's. I could eat that for breakfast, lunch, dinner, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, any day of the week. Any day of the week I could eat McDonald's. But I think that there is something to be said about dates. When you go on a date with someone, you're trying to impress them and you're kind of like putting your best self forward and showing them, hey, this is me. Like, as a man, like, I could provide for you. And, you know, it's like you're trying to impress someone on the first date. So the reason why I say he brought me to McDonald's is because, girl, let's be honest. On a first date, if you're going to McDonald's, it shows that you're a very low maintenance girl. And sometimes that's not the best thing. Okay, this is kind of like how I used to think. Like, I used to be a pick-me girl. And I used to be like, oh, I'm so low maintenance. Like, oh, like, I'm such a cool girl. Like, guys should love me because I'm such a cool girl. I don't have to wear makeup. Let's go to McDonald's, blah, 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 blah. But now looking back on it, I wasn't low maintenance. I just was trying so hard to get male validation to the point where they could take advantage of me. And I know you're saying this because, like, oh, I went to McDonald's, but I personally think that a man, not a little boy, because this was a little boy, a man on the first date should be whining and dining you. They should be treating you. They should be making you feel special, asking you questions about yourself, everything opposite to this exact date. And I'm saying this little disclaimer because I kind of like said, oh, this is the worst date. He took me to McDonald's. And so many girls responded being like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with going to McDonald's? Bitch, don't get me fucking wrong. If I'm in a relationship with someone 6 months in, 3 months in, even 1 month in, okay? Even 1 month in, maybe even sooner, I am a down ass bitch for McDonald's. But on the first date, that is 100% unacceptable. He didn't even make a reservation. I don't know. I was a little girl and he was a little boy. This is like, I don't know. We've learned, and I hope to God that he has learned. I have no idea what he's doing right now. And I kind of made the joke. I was like, oh, look how romantic we are, like going to McDonald's. Also, I forgot about this. I put this in my notes. He had to pee every 10 minutes, and we would pull off to the side of the road to pee. Now that I'm thinking about it, that bitch had a UTI. I didn't even think about that. That bitch had a UTI because he kept having to pee every 10 minutes, and like we would drive, he had to pee, and it was so awkward because we would drive, he would have the music on, and then he'd be like, oh, I have to pee. He would turn off the car, no music. He'd be like, sorry, excuse me. He would go out of the car, and then because there was no music, the car wasn't on, all I would hear is every 10 minutes. And I swear to you, that date lasted hours. Every 10 minutes he had to go pee. And now I'm thinking back, he for sure had a UTI. Did you know that? I thought that only girls had UTIs. Nope, guys can get UTIs too. And he was a fuckboy, so he probably doesn't get tested. He probably doesn't use a condom. But we walked around this little town, and he had to pee every 10 minutes. He would have to go behind a tree, go pee. What else did he do? He went behind a bush, went pee. He went behind this is so ingrained in my brain. It was so dramatic. He went behind I think a barn, and he went pee. So we kind of walked around. It was, you know what? It was a cute little area. It was like where the water was. There's like a cute little walkway. So I have to give him that. That was cute. So we'd walk around, and on the bench, I'd be saying something, and then he would go on his phone. And then I would say something, and he would get distracted. And then I would say something, and like he couldn't pay attention to what I was saying. I wrote this down. He said that I should swipe on Hinge for the town that we were in for boys with yachts because it was like a rich town. And he says that his girls always do that, and they always have a side thing. And then he showed me pictures of his Visco account. He opened Hinge on the date, swiped on the date. We drove around the neighborhoods and he was revving his engine, saying, "Wake up." What the fuck? But yeah, oh my God, I even remember, I didn't write this in my note. I have this ingrained in my brain. I think I was talking about something or saying, because on Hinge and on these social media or these dating websites, I don't say that I do social media. I just say that I do like social media marketing. And I try to not like tell people that I do social media because I feel like it just attracts the wrong kind of person. And I want someone to know me for me. I don't want someone to like watch my videos and like know me through my videos. Like I want someone to be able to like meet me, get to know me through my terms and my conditions, and not just like watch my vlogs and judge me on that. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's so weird dating when you're on social media. But yeah, I was talking to him and he would get distracted by the little kids running around. And I was just like shook that he just like could not focus on a conversation for the life of him. And I still remember it to this day. So yeah, okay, after we were sitting on the bench along the water, he said he had a headache. So we drive over to A&W, which is like a burger drive-through. It's kind of like McDonald's, but a little bit better. And I think we got McFlurries at McDonald's, and at A&W we got burgers. I think he got a burger and he asked me if I wanted anything, and I think I just said fries, so I think I got fries, or maybe nothing, I don't remember. We went to the drive-thru, we got the food, we ate, he had to pee, and then I wrote this down. He asked me what my natural hair color was, and obviously I say black because my hair was blonde at the time, like bright platinum blonde. And he was like, "Oh, why do you dye it like that? Like you should just keep it your natural hair color." And I was like, "Not you just meeting me and telling me to change things about myself. What the fuck? Like what the fuck?" This man it wasn't even a man. I honestly, like, I can't even hate him because we were literally so young. Like, we were literally children. And like now looking back, I'm like giving us, I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, I also remember this. We were passing by because after A&W, he was like, "Okay, I'm going to drop you home." And we were passing by my friend Alex's house, and I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, should I just ask him to drop me off at Alex's house? That way I can Uber to my house, because that's how painful it was to be in the same car as him. Like, he would only talk about himself. He would like disassociate when I was talking about myself. He would not ask me questions about myself. He had to pee every 10 minutes. Like, oh my God. Like, I literally remember that. We were passing by Alex's house, and I was like, should I ask him to drop me off at Alex's house? And I was like, no, it's okay. I'm just going to save the $30 in the Uber, so it's fine. So we drove all the way back to my small town house. And he sent me a snap after of him getting pulled over by a police car when he dropped me home. When he dropped me home, I got a Snapchat because obviously we communicated on Snapchat. That's what you do. This whole day was so bad. He Snapchatted me a fucking, I wish I had the photo. I think I screenshotted it, or I got Sierra to take a photo of it on her phone from my phone so he doesn't get the notification. But oh my fucking God, the things that I would do so to find that photo and put it in this video. But it was literally just like a video of him and then the red and blue lights in the background of him getting pulled over. Oh, this was so weird. I don't know why it's kind of out of order, but another thing that I wrote down is he laughed at someone getting fired at his work. He said that he made a girl cry at his work, and he said the girl told him that he was a gaslighter, and he asked me what that meant. He didn't know what a gaslighter was. What the fuck? You know when people say that your most valuable asset or your most valuable thing that you could give to anyone is your time? I really gave that my time to this man. And the last point that I have on my phone, I said he vapes. Isn't it always the ones that vape that are always like this? But that was the story time of my worst date that I've ever been on ever. I wouldn't say I've been on many bad dates, if I'm going to be honest. I don't have any really memorable ones where they were really bad. I think it's just that one guy and that one girl. I could do a little summary of the worst story time that I've had with a girl. Because that one was a lot more recent. But yeah, that was my straight era. The bar was on the fucking floor with this one. And you know what? We've grown and learned a lot from it. And the things that I used to entertain back then, I don't entertain anymore. I think it's crazy because I feel like over the years, your tastes and your type in partners kind of change. Like, it's so crazy. If I saw him, because I remember what he looks like, if I saw him on my dating apps now, I don't think I would have. I don't know. I don't think I would have even entertained him because I feel like after every person that you date or hook up with, like, your type changes. And I don't know. It's just so funny to think. But yeah, that was my story time. Have you gone on a worst date? Have your dates been this bad, or is it not that? Like, was my date not even that bad? What is your opinion on my worst date story time? Let me know what you guys think. But I think it was kind of a funny story because it was a full circle moment because I went back to my house and I went to Sierra and I literally was like, girl, that was the worst date of my whole life. And like, we were both laughing about it. I was telling her about it. We were like both laughing. And while I'm telling her the story of my worst date ever, I get the Snapchat coming in of him getting pulled over by the police. I just thought it was a really full circle moment. I don't know what he's doing now. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's treating women with respect, but who knows? But yeah, that was my worst date story time that I've ever had with a guy. But I'm really happy of how far we've come now because I haven't even come close to that anymore. I feel like I kind of know, like, I could kind of weave them out. I could tell by like the way that they talk, like if you're gonna be a fuckboy or not, if you're gonna be like nice and like actually respect women, or just treat them like an object and you just don't have sex with them and you don't listen to them and nothing that they say matters because they're just an object to you and a woman is just something that you possess. But I don't know. Hopefully he's changed. I hope some woman out there has trained him. You know what? I actually just want to give a huge shout out to all the women that have trained men. I would like to give a shout out to the good men that I have met, the women that have trained him. They're really out here not getting the recognition that they deserve. The yelling at them, the teaching them, the telling them how they should be treated. Slay queen. I really appreciate you. And I've done it in the past, and I do not feel like doing it anymore. So, love you, and thank you for your service. But yeah, if I were to go back and give myself advice to my baby self, maybe like, what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? Was it 3 or 4 years ago? I don't remember. I think I would just say, girl, you better date older. Because I think that men under the age of 30 are just useless. Okay, I'm kidding. That's really mean. But men under the age of 30 just don't know how to treat a woman. And if they do, it's really rare. Like, I have found that at least at the very bare minimum, 27, 28. Because I mean, okay, I guess I was like 20. How old was I back then? 21, 22. My timelines are all messed up. But I think if I were to give myself any advice, I would say to just date older. Because I think I have a feeling that guy was younger than me. But yeah, I feel like my type back then was just like very tan, with light eyes, like fucking. Oh, what's that guy from who's that guy from Jesse Williams? What did he play? Jesse Williams in Grey's Anatomy. I was obsessed with Grey's Anatomy at the time. Jesse Williams. Dr. Jackson. I was obsessed with Dr. Jackson, fucking whatever his name is, looking bitches. I love the tan with the light eyes. But yeah, I would just say, girl, you need to go through this right now. We're going to go through our tough times right now. We're going to learn a lot as we grow up. But definitely date older, because young boys, we need to really take our hats off for women that are dating young boys. But yeah, that was my story time. Should we do some questions? What would Rihanna do? Rihanna, please don't sue me. I just love you and I look up to you and I'm like, what would Rihanna do? But I have a couple questions that people have sent in on my spam account. If you're not already, make sure to be following me. It's not Adeline on Instagram, and I link it on my actual Instagram. It's not Adeline, N-O-T Adeline. And you guys sent in some questions, and some of them are actually really, it goes with the kind of the theme of today's episodes. One person asked, because they're all anonymous, one person asked thoughts on hookup culture. So I think back in the day, in my head, I was like kind of a pick-me girl, and I was like, I'm so cool. Like, I don't get attached to men. Like, I'm just using men for sex, blah, 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 blah. But I think over the past couple of years, I realized that the anatomy and the brain of a woman is so much different than of a man. And hookup culture can be so toxic to not only your head, but also your body. But I first off want to say, monogamy is not natural to humans at all. Like, we are not meant to be monogamous. Like, there's, what is it? Like, doves or swans are supposed to be monogamous, and there's like another animal that's supposed to be monogamous, but humans are not supposed to be monogamous. And I looked at, did you watch that Netflix show? And it was like Monogamy Explained. That's where I kind of like got a lot of this, but it basically explains that basically we had packs of people. I don't know if, like, this is really the correct terms for it, but basically everyone would just have sex with each other and everyone would take care of the baby. Like, it's not like, oh, this is the mom and this is the dad. It was like the whole pack. It's not the pack, it's the whole group of people. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to sound stupid in this, but the whole group of people, whoever was closest to the baby, you just had to like help it not cry, like pick it up and like help it not cry and like pat it on the back or like change the diaper. I don't know. They didn't have diapers back then, but they didn't have like mom and dad. It was like the whole group kind of took care of the baby. And you just have to watch the Netflix show. It's called Netflix Explained. With monogamy, and basically monogamy isn't natural to us, so that's why I feel like a lot of people cheat, but it's just like our old like natural instincts. But cheating is really bad. It's like, you know, you have a partner and that's supposed to be your best friend and you're lying about something so fucking big. It's just like morally really wrong, but that's just like how humans are. So hookup culture, I think back in the day I was like super excited to hook up with people, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in my hoe era, my hoe phase. I even like made a whole little EP of music that I've never released, and it was called my hoe phase, and it truly was my hoe phase because I was just like, you know, experimenting and like having fun with it. But I think hookup culture is really fun, but I think that we should all take a step back and really look at it, because sex is such an intimate thing. And I think near the end of my like hookup like culture hoe era, hoe phase, I was starting to realize how much of an energy transfer you get when you hook up with someone. So tell me if you've ever experienced this before, but you go to hook up with someone and the next day you feel like absolute fucking shit. Does that ever happen to you with a specific person? And maybe it's their vibe or their aura. Like, you're like, oh, let's just hook up. It'll be fun. It's a fun hookup. The next day, you feel anxious. You feel sad. You feel regretful. You feel, I don't know. Maybe it was a good hookup, but for some reason, you're like, why the fuck am I like overwhelmed with this like anxiety and this sadness and this and this and this? But it's because sex is the biggest form of energy transfer in the whole fucking world. Like, you know, when even like on comments, when you like read comments, people that get you heated. Like, it's an energy transfer. When you are in person with people and they say something about your outfit, they're like, oh, your outfit's so fucking ugly. That's an energy transfer. You get their negative energy. When someone says, oh, I love your nails, you get the energy transfer. People are being positive and you feel happy. Like, someone smiles at you randomly throughout the day. It's an energy transfer. Like, it makes you happy, like, to interact with someone that's really nice. Like, energy transfer is like a huge thing. Now, think about sex. Sex is the most intimate thing that you can do. Like, the energy transfer is just so strong. So if you hook up with someone that has crazy anxiety, if you hook up with someone with bad intentions, if you hook up with someone that doesn't look at women as people, they look at women as objects, like, how do you think you're gonna feel after having such a crazy energy transfer? And this is why I stopped being like in my hoe phase, because I started getting a lot pickier with the people that I hook up with. I would only hook up with people if I felt like they were genuine, they were nice, they were happy, they weren't depressed, they had good intentions, I don't know, I just like became super picky about it, because I notice when I hook up with people that are depressed, have anxiety, or like, I mean, obviously, like, everybody, has something wrong with them. Everyone has anxiety, like, but if someone is hooking up with bad intentions and they just want to, I don't know, they just want to hook, like, they literally transfer their anxiety over to you. They transfer their sadness over to you. And I felt that. And it goes the other way around, because I feel like I'm a very happy person. You ever feel like when you hook up with someone happy, you're happy the next day? Girl, it's a fucking thing. It's a fucking thing. I don't know how this podcast turned into this, but yeah, this is my opinion on hookup culture, I guess, is I used to not give a fuck, and if you're sexy, then let's hook up. But now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, if you don't have good energy, if we're not vibing, if you don't treat women with respect, like, it's not even worth it for me. It's literally like a sex hangover when you like hook up with someone and like you just feel like shit the next day. Like, genuinely a sex hangover. So my thoughts on hookup culture is, I think that it's really fun, and I feel like sometimes you just need to get it out of your system, which I really think that I did. But you don't have to hook up with people with bad energy, and you're allowed to be picky with who you hook up with. And yeah, if you don't want that shitty feeling the next day, that's at least just what I found. And all of my friends agree with me on this. Like, oh my God, like, I'm not gonna out any of my friends, but one of my friends hooked up with this guy, and then like minutes after, because I don't want to give too much away, minutes after, she tells me, she's like, why am I overwhelmed with sadness? I literally just want to cry, and I don't even know for what reason. Like, he's being super nice to me, like, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just like, after we had sex, I had so much sadness. And I'm like, girl, I told you, it's the fucking energy transfer. Like, you're experiencing this right now. When you have sex with someone, the energy transfer is so fucking crazy. And she didn't believe me until that very moment, when she was like, damn, like, Adeline, like, you're kind of onto something. But yeah, that's the long answer to that question. That's my answer to my thoughts on hookup culture. The next question, it says, how to manifest your ideal man. And then they put the crying emoji. Like, girl, me too. Me too. I think how to manifest your ideal partner is one thing that I did, especially getting out of my really long relationship, is like, when I first started to learn how to be single. First of all, you need to learn how to be single. I feel like you need to spend time with yourself. I feel like people who jump from relationship to relationship to relationship so quickly, and they're like, oh, I know how to be single. I was single for a month. Bitch, you don't fucking know how to be single. Like, be single for like a year. Like, it's not that hard. Anyways, I feel like some people just like really need the validation of like a partner. And they kind of put their traumas on other people so that they don't have to deal with it. Anyways, be single. Number one. is be single. Number 2 is I would get a notes in your phone, go in your notes app on your phone and write down your deal breakers. What are some things that are really important to you that are deal breakers? And then what are some things that are like, it's okay and you're more lenient on? So I think some of my deal breakers are on on my list. I'm trying to remember. Is I want someone to have the same views as me with like women's rights. Honestly, like political views, like religious views, like are those things important to you? I want someone that has a stable job. I feel like it's not shallow and it's not asking for much to, if I have a stable job, for someone else to have a nice stable job and like be able to like provide for themselves and like maybe even like, you know, pay for dinner, like be able to treat each other. I want someone that is funny. I want someone that I can be silly with and someone that is goofy. And I just want someone that I think is a genuinely happy person, someone that has been to therapy, that's done the work, that is happy with themselves, and someone that I basically don't have to be a therapist for, because I feel like I've been a therapist for so many people and so many, I don't know, different times. I'm literally a free fucking therapist. And there's a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm done being a therapist. Like like none of these bitches are paying me. Like if you want to pay me, hell yeah, let me listen, let me talk, but they're not paying me. They're getting free sex. Like, no. So those are my deal breakers. And then have other things that are like not as much deal breakers, like do you want them to be tall? Like, do you want them to have a certain appearance? Do you want them to be close to their family? Do you want them to, you know, XYZ, whatever your list is. And I think my last thing for trying to manifest your ideal man is think of where your ideal man is spending his time. Is your ideal man in the club? Is your ideal man spending thousands of dollars on bottles to sleep with girls at the club? I don't think so. I think that your ideal man is probably at conventions. Like maybe he is working out at the gym. Like maybe he's going to therapy. Maybe, I mean, imagine you meet someone in therapy. But I don't know, go places where you feel like your ideal man is. Because I feel like if you meet someone at the club, like maybe you guys will get along. But I just feel like people who go to the club, like it's just like a club phase. Like it's just like you don't really genuinely meet people like dream ideal partners at the club, because I'm like, you know, the club's where you go to get turned. You're not looking for anything serious at the club. If you want something serious and you're thinking of your ideal partner, where would they be? Like your ideal partner, realistically, would they be at the library? Are they learning? Are they in school? Are they at Soho House? Like where are they? Equinox? Like probably a nice expensive gym. I don't know. Like go to the places that you feel like your ideal partner is. Oh wow, I kind of answered this one. Someone said, how do you start looking for a serious relationship? I would first of all say, don't even bother on the apps. I don't think I've met anyone nice or serious on the apps. I think that, you know, when I think of my ideal partner is not desperate. My ideal partner has many options, and my ideal partner, I would probably just meet them in person. And every good person that I've met, that I've like kind of, you know, had like a little fling with, I met in person, and we met through mutual friends, or we met somewhere that we both like going to, or, you know, we have something in common. So I think to look for someone that's looking for a serious relationship, you know, obviously everybody, you know, there could be a lot of people out there that meet their like husband or their wife on Tinder or Bumble and stuff like that. But I think it's also really hard. And at least from my personal experience, I haven't met anyone serious on the dating apps. So try and put yourself out there, like go places that you feel like your ideal partner would be. How to deal with situationships. I I don't know. I think I've learned a lot in the past couple years about masculine energy versus feminine energy. And when you're in that situationship era, when you're like, he hasn't asked you to be your girlfriend, you guys are seeing each other all the time, you're going on dates, like, what do you call each other, blah, 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 blah. I think that as a girl or just someone that's like in their feminine energy, I think it's just being able to, I don't know, just like be in the moment and be happy and like feel your feelings and express to your partner how you feel, set your boundaries. And I feel like I tell my friends this all the time, but they're like, oh, like we're kind of in a situationship. Like, do I talk to him about condoms? Like, do I tell, like, ask him if he's like hooking up with any other people? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, absolutely fucking yes, you should, because it's not like you're a crazy girl and you're like, oh my God, are we using condoms? Am I your girlfriend? Blah, 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 blah. Like in my friends' heads, like they're like, oh my God, am I being crazy by asking this? I'm like, no, this is your health. Like this is your whole body, your health. Like you don't know if he has something. You don't know if he's gotten tested. You don't know if he did this. And, for men, sometimes having chlamydia is asymptomatic and you can't even tell that you have it. And, it's a little uncomfortable for men. But for women, when you have chlamydia, you could be infertile. You could just not have babies. And it's your health. Like you're not being crazy by asking these questions. So I think when you're in a situationship, you should definitely ask your partner, hey, when was the last time that you got tested? And like, can you show me the results? Like, like, are you guys using condoms? Like, are you guys hooking up with other people? I think it's like those kinds of questions I would for sure ask, because it's not like you're crazy. You're literally asking for your health. It's not like you're super obsessive and like a crazy girlfriend. Like you literally just want to be safe and you just want to be healthy. And I feel like if you go to the gym, if you take care of yourself, why wouldn't you take care of your sexual health too? So definitely ask your partner these types of things, like, hey, I just wanted to say, like, are we using condoms? If we're not using condoms, are you hooking up with other people? And I'm just asking for my own health and my own safety, because I don't want to get tested sooner or later and then I have chlamydia and then, I'm infertile forever, the rest of my life. Like it's permanent damage. And I don't know. I think setting that boundary is super important. And I just need to stress this so much. You're not asking for a lot, girl. The bar is on the fucking floor nowadays, and asking that stuff is not asking for a lot. It's actually the bare fucking minimum. So definitely get those questions out of the way. And I think it's all about just, communicating. I feel like all that a relationship is communication, and just making sure that both of you are being healthy, both of you are being truthful to each other. And actually, don't trust men. You should just actually get tested, even if he says that he hasn't hooked up with anyone, and just don't trust anyone. Kind of sad, but don't trust anyone. Ooh, I really love this question. Someone asked, how do you grow when you're in a relationship? I love this question because I feel like I've kind of struggled with this as well with my own personal, because as you guys know, I've only really been in like 2 relationships my whole life. I've been in like my public one and I've been in one in private. And I feel like one thing that I've always struggled with while in relationships is I feel like I'm stagnant. Like, do you ever feel like, they say that you become like the 3 people that you hang around the most, and obviously your partner you hang around the most. And sometimes I just feel like I'm stagnant and I feel like I'm not growing and I feel like I'm not learning, and I just get so comfortable and I'm like, is this healthy? Like, is this good? But it is, it's fine. But one thing that I found that just makes me feel better about myself and makes me feel sexy, makes me feel good, is to go on dates with yourself and like really get to know yourself. I feel like once I started doing this, like I just became a more better and flourished version of me, and it even like helps my relationship because I feel like I'm just in a better mood. I feel good about myself when I'm constantly learning and like constantly evolving. So some examples that I've done is I started taking French lessons, which I'm like so excited. My goal by the end of 2023 is I want to be able to speak French and be fluent in it and be able to like move to Paris and like really speak the language. And I know it's so hard. I wish that my dad taught me French because that was his first language and he just like didn't teach me. But yeah, I started taking French lessons. I started going on dates with myself. Like, girl, go to dinner with just you. And I feel like back in the day, I would be so embarrassed. I'd be like, oh my God, it's going to look like I got stood up. It's going to look like blah, 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 blah. But no one genuinely gives a flying fuck. Like, go out to dinner by yourself. Go get a drink by yourself. Go do things that are like independent to you. Even if it means like, sometimes I'm crazy and I'll literally just take a 10-minute drive around my neighborhood just by myself. And it just feels good. Oh, another good one is trying new workouts or new classes. I started picking up this new thing. I started picking up Pilates, and honestly, I feel like a Range Rover mom. Like I'm about to pick up the kids from soccer practice and pick up some watermelon because it's my weekend to give the watermelon. Like I just feel like a Pilates mom, like a Range Rover mom when I go to Pilates. And honestly, it's a really good workout. I am always so sore. I'm literally shaking when I do Pilates. I used to do weightlifting, but I don't love it as much as I love Pilates because it's just kind of like a slow burn and you really feel it. Start taking up a new class. What's something that you've always wanted to do? It doesn't have to be working out. It could be a pottery class. I saw some pottery classes. It could be like a hair class. It could be a makeup class. What's something that you've always wanted to learn that you really want to do? And something that, you could always do like things with your partner, new, classes with your partner, like tango. Like I think my dad started doing like dancing classes or something with his partner. But like start going out and trying new different classes. I feel like I stopped feeling so stagnant when I started taking myself out on dates. I started working on myself and I started, learning. I don't know. And that's how I just feel better with myself when I'm in a relationship. Because I feel like when I'm single, I really feel myself evolve. Because when you're single, you're not focused on anything. Because you don't realize when you're in a relationship, that takes up so much time of your day. It takes up a lot of your time. I even remember like when I got out of one relationship, I was like, oh my God, I literally have so much fucking time. Like I have so much time to do so much shit. Like I'm bored all the time. You don't realize how much time you put into your relationship. So start putting that time to yourself. Start putting some time to yourself. Like, have you always wanted to clean out your closet? Have you always wanted to donate the clothes that you don't use? Like, have you always wanted to paint your room, make your room like a nice, cute sanctuary, fun space? Like, do things for yourself and schedule it. Put it in your calendar. That's something that also makes me feel better about myself is because sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take today off. Today's just going to be a me day. But sometimes I feel kind of bad about it because I feel like I'm being lazy. But if you schedule days off, like sometimes for the most part, I don't do anything on Sundays. So Sundays I schedule as my day off. And I will schedule like a Pilates class or I'll schedule to, make some candles because I have a candle making kit, or I'll schedule to just like binge watch a show that I've always wanted, like Wednesdays or what just came out. Oh, Emily in Paris. I'll be like, oh, today, I'm sorry. I already made plans with myself. I can't cancel on myself again. Like literally the Grinch. I have to listen to binge watch Emily in Paris. Genuinely. Schedule dates with yourself and don't cancel. I literally sound like the Grinch. Wrestle with my self-loathing. Dinner with myself. Oh, I can't cancel that again. But your relationship with yourself is the same as your relationship with any other person. Like, say you're going to go on a date with your friend and you're always canceling on your friend. How are you going to feel about your friend? Like shit. So how are you going to feel about that with yourself when you're like, oh, today I'm going to do this for myself. Oh, I'm going to cancel it. How are you going to feel about yourself? Like shit. And I saw something that was like, your relationships with people, that's not just like your relationships is not just with people. Your relationships can be with food. It could be with your phone. It could be with your computer, the amount of time that you spend on the internet. It could be with yourself. And we have so many relationships with different things. So really nurture and make sure that you take care of the relationship with yourself and stop canceling on yourself. Literally be the Grinch. The last one that I have is how to make your significant other of years horny. And I love this question too because somebody asked me this because I'm a kinky motherfucker. So one thing that I really, really, really recommend that you do is go on, it's this website. It's not even sponsored. Don't kill me if it gives you a virus because it's low-key a little bit of a sketchy website. Don't sue me. Sorry. It's kind of a sketchy website, but I use it. So go on bdsmtest.org. And it's kind of a sketchy website, but just go on it. Do the test. I just do the short test. And it asks you questions like, are you into, tying your partner up? Are you into, doing threesomes? Are you into this? Are you doing that? To answer the questions, and it has like from green to red, like how open you are to, whatever activity it is. And it asks a lot of weird questions. Like it asks like, are you into like acting like a dog? Like, do you want to be in a cage? Like it asks you a lot of like kinky shit, but just have your partner beside you, fill it out with yourself, and it'll give you your answers. So it'll say if you're like a submissive, a dominant. It'll say if you're a brat tamer. Are you a switch? Are you a rope bunny? A rigger? All of these things. There's so many different things. And if you click on it, it tells you the definition of each thing. So yeah, I would just do that. Do that with your partner. Do the little test. Find out, are you into this? Like, are you open to this? Like, is he into that? Is he open to that? Like, and be truthful about your answers. Like, don't feel judgment about, what you want, because at the end of the day, sex is just like something fun that you should do with your partner. And if you want to try something new, if you want to like bring in toys, you want to try tying someone up, beep boop beep bop, whatever you want to do, you should do it because it's so fun. And I feel like it is really uncomfortable to talk about like, what are your kinks? What are this? What do you want to do? Blah, 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 blah. Are you open to that? Oh, that's kind of weird. Oh, do you want to rope? And blah, blah, blah. I feel like back then I was so like, I felt so weird about my kinks and like the things that I like, but it's just like, it's just you. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just the things that you like. And maybe you're into something and your partner isn't, but your partner is willing to explore something for you. And like, it's all about give or take and like communication and like knowing what feels good for one another and like role play. Oh my God, I love role play. Just figure it out. And yeah, it's all about communication. And I feel like doing that test, it kind of breaks down the walls of like the awkward talk, like, oh, should we try this? Like, I don't know. It's like, it's so awkward to bring it up sometimes, especially to your partner. I don't know. But do the test. Ask your partner, what you're into, show the results, like ask him what he's into, what you guys want to do, or what she's into. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's like a fun way to make your significant other horny after many years, because you can do it, girl. I know you could do it. But I think it's all about, it's like, I feel like I used to get so insecure because I'm like, oh, I'm so old. Like, he knows my body already. Like, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing new. But that doesn't mean shit. Like, you could be with someone and still keep them horny for years upon years upon years upon years. And it doesn't even matter. Like, sometimes people just like vanilla sex and it just like makes them horny, makes them turn on. And like some people like do more kinky shit and like it just makes them horny, it makes them turn on. It has nothing to do with like the amount of years that you've been dating someone. It's just about like, I don't know. I get really excited when I try something new, and it can be as little as, a new toy. It could be as little as like, tying someone up. It could be as little as, dirty talk. And even if it's, I don't know, it could be really little things. And I think there was a study done and it said that, like men and women watch porn and after they watch the same amount of porn, their erection like wasn't as, I don't know, they weren't as horny and erect. I don't know. And then once they saw something new, they, got more of an erection. So try new things. And it doesn't mean that your partner's like tired of you. Just like try something new, like some people like vanilla sex and they like doing the same thing over and over again and it like really does it for them. And then some people just like to try new things. It has nothing to do with you. It just, some people just like to try new things, and it's really exciting to try new things. When you try a new class and you try a new like Pilates class, you get really scared. When I first went to my first Pilates class, I was really scared, and I showed up really early, and I was like nervous because I didn't know what I was doing. And I like went to the teacher and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, this is my first class, like I don't really know. And my heart was beating, I was like really nervous and blah 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 blah. But I was like, at the end of the class, I was really proud and really excited of myself. So like, how do you think you would feel after like trying something new with like your partner, something sexual? I don't know. But yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's girl talk of my worst date with a man. I'm so sorry. The bar is so low to the floor. What do you think of my first date story? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think the bar is on the floor? I don't know. Would you accept it? Would you think it's cool? I don't know. But if you guys haven't already, then make sure to rate my podcast. It means a lot on Spotify and Apple Music. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube. I don't know, wherever you listen to your podcast, but I hope that you guys enjoy. I will be here, same place, same time, every Wednesday. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Did you like that episode? I really hope that you did. If you haven't already, then make sure to watch last week's episode or the week after. Just click on the links, whatever it is. And I hope that you guys enjoyed. Also, be sure to subscribe because it helps me a lot. But I love you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.
Sipping on Hawaiian punch. Squeeze the sides, feel it rush. Sipping on Hawaiian punch. Know you like all this gush? Oh no, you can't get enough. Sipping on Hawaiian